This video is brought to you by...
If you know, you know. Come shop with my man.
Come through, man.
He got socks, hats, shirts, hoodies, shorts. And he show love if you show love.
Man, you already know what it is, man. We coming straight out of Baltimore, man. We going worldwide, man. Cool green clothing, man. We on the block with it, man. 215 West Saratoga Street. Pull up on us, man. Sure enough, man.
Shout out to Tony 2 times, nigga, the Baltimore Way.
You already know, man. If you ain't cool and getting the grain, you're in the way. That's just basic.
You gotta get out the way. That's what he said.
Exactly, man.
What's going on, YouTube, fam? It's your boy Tony 2 times, and we back with another episode of the Baltimore Way, man. Before I start, be sure to tap that like button. It's free. It helps get the video out there. Definitely watch this video to the end to hear the full story and all the details in the case. For my day one fam, y'all already know it's all love. Thanks for tuning back into another episode. If you're new to the channel and you feeling the content, feel free to subscribe. Definitely hit that notification bell so you can be notified every time we drop a new video. Oh yeah, feel free to share the channel with your peoples. Everybody is welcome. With that being said, let's get right into the story. For most people, we understand these are some dangerous and unpredictable times we are living in. When we decide to leave the safety of our homes and go outside, even if it's just with family, most try to focus on what they have going on, control their atmosphere, and protect their energy. Because you can only control yourself and you can't control others. But on the flip side of that, you have people that leave their homes every day wishing, hoping to run into a problem. Because they are not trying to stay out the way, they are looking for action. We hear and see it all the time. People fighting, getting into it with each other, even in kid-friendly environments. Self-control is at an all-time low. It's almost like everybody is walking around with a chip on their shoulder or something to prove. Back in the day, if you saw two people having a disagreement and they squared up, ready to throw hands, some would probably think a good fight. I'm trying to see this. But if you was raised like me, then you understand that can escalate real fast to guns coming out, especially if somebody's pride gets hurt. So you keep it moving, not trying to see what's about to happen. Because it's an old saying, I'm sure we have all heard before. Bullets don't have no name on them. And unfortunately, it's usually the people that's not even involved in the situation who gets hit. And on this episode of the Baltimore Way, we'll be discussing the case of a shootout in the Baltimore streets that left a teen caught in the crossfire. Back in 2024, 19-year-old Cameron Hope of Pasadena, Maryland, had a lot to look forward to in life. Coming from a big family, Cameron was described as loving, caring, a natural-born leader who had compassion for everybody. At a young age, she fell in love with animals, helping them, caring for them, especially her dogs. After high school, things was looking up for the young lady. With her love for others, she decided to pursue a career helping kids with special needs. And in October 2024, she was excited she had just received her registered behavior technician certification. A lot was happening for Cameron. In the same month, one of her sisters was also pregnant, so her and her family was looking forward to a new addition. On October 26th of that year, Cameron was heading to a gender reveal for her sister. All the family was there, but after that, her, one of her sisters, and cousin decided to leave and link up with some friends. At the time, 20-year-old Alexis Cancel Soto, who Cameron considered a close friend and knew very well, 28-year-old Devontae Richardson, and 27-year-old Deshaun Clark. The men had a different kind of energy that day though. They had just came from a candlelight vigil for one of their friends who had lost their life to gun violence. The groups all decided they would meet up in Baltimore, the Federal Hill area of the city. Now late night, early into the next morning, everybody including Cameron were vibing, sitting inside of their cars. Some were sitting outside, just talking, chopping it up. When somewhere in the mix, a man in another vehicle and Devontae started having words. The back and forth lasted a few minutes before Alexis, Devontae, and Deshaun all grabbed their guns and stood in the parking lot. The man in the other car had a gun as well. As he drove out to leave, multiple shots went off as people were shooting from every direction. After the incident, mostly everybody fled the scene. As BPD was called to the location, when they arrived, they found over 40 shell casings and also saw a few people in panic mode. As police found out, Cameron was hit, shot in the neck while sitting in a car. She was rushed to a local hospital in critical condition. A parking lot attendant was willing to tell police what took place, but surprisingly, Cameron's sister refused to talk to police. Later that morning, another victim walked inside of Johns Hopkins Hospital, suffering from a gunshot wound. He told police he had been shot leaving a parking lot in Federal Hill, and he shot back. Quickly realizing he was one of the people involved in the shootout, police asked exactly what happened, and an investigation started. In that area of the city where the incident took place at, it was cameras everywhere, so it was easy for police to get surveillance footage. It showed the argument between two men, and a man pulled out a gun with a red bandana wrapped around it, and his homies also upped their guns as well. As the car they was going back and forth with pulled out, shots went off. As a few weeks went by, Cameron was in a coma, fighting for her life. If she made it, she would have been paralyzed, but God had other plans, and unfortunately, the young lady passed away from her injuries. Now, it was a homicide investigation. It wouldn't take long for police to identify some of the suspects, as the parking lot attendant from that morning who saw everything was also friends with the group, and a license plate from one of the getaway vehicles was registered to Devontae. Days later, police picked up Alexis in Baltimore, Deshaun in Severn, Maryland, and Devontae in Handover, Maryland. All three of the men admitted they were out that night in Federal Hill. Alexis told police all of his friends were involved in gangs and active gang members, but he wasn't. When shown the video of the shooting, all three men admitted to being involved. They claimed the man in the other car flashed the gun first, but police knew it was a shootout, and now an innocent bystander had lost her life. Alexis stated Cameron was his close friend, and they would never intentionally shoot at her. But with video footage and all three of the men admitting to being on the scene, they were all taken into custody, charged with first-degree hit, reckless endangerment, attempt, and firearm violations. Cameron's family was devastated and felt her life was cut short over a petty argument. As the cases started making their way to trial, things took a crazy turn. All three of the men were facing their own separate trials, and as witnesses testified, Cameron's sister, who was also there that night, started making threats, calling one person a rat and saying, "Watch your back," as it seemed she was keeping the street code and wanted her friends to go free, even though one of them might have been responsible for her sister losing her life. She was arrested for witness intimidation and held without bail. Alexis' trial was first. He took the stand in his own defense, stating Cameron was his homegirl and he would never put her in harm's way. He claimed that night after the vigil, they all met up and stated when Devontae started arguing with the other man, he was scared that something was about to happen. So he grabbed his gun, which he wasn't supposed to have because of prior convictions. He also admitted his friends were gang members, but he also let it be known they wasn't looking for any trouble that night or wanted to get into a shootout. As the jury watched the video of all three men shooting, no one was able to determine who fired the fatal shot, and no guns was found on the scene. But they still found Alexis guilty on all charges. He is scheduled for sentencing next month. Devontae's charges were all dropped, except for the reckless endangerment. He is still waiting to be sentenced. Doing all my research, I couldn't find any information on Deshaun's case, if he was found guilty on anything or still fighting. Cameron's mother spoke out on the convictions. She stated she was happy that somebody would pay for her daughter losing her life because it was unfair, and that she was also an innocent bystander. She also stated the family is still grieving, and just 2 weeks earlier, before the incident, Cameron had got her certificate and was ready to start her career. Rest in peace to Cameron. I send my prayers and condolences to her family. It's a terrible situation. Shorty had her whole life ahead of her, and it was cut short over ego and pride. The crazy part is, out of all that, yeah, the person they was shooting at got hit, but nobody else lost their life. But the person who didn't have nothing to do with nothing. It's clear to see the three men had a different energy about them that night. They were leaving a vigil. Ironically, for another friend, they had lost to gun violence. But that energy, having something to prove, always so quick to grab a gun, now has affected 4 lives. One is gone forever. The other 3 will forever have to live for what happened that night and the consequences of their actions. But I'm going to leave this one open for discussion. Y'all let me know what y'all think about the situation. Leave it in the comments. Yeah, man, crazy story. Rest in peace to that young lady. I definitely send my prayers to her family. But I ain't going to talk too much more about this one. Y'all be sure to tap that like button if you're feeling the content. I definitely appreciate you if you made it to the end. Y'all already know it's all love, fam. This is another episode of the Baltimore Way. It's your boy Tony 2 times. I'm out.